What's going on, everybody? Week 11 is quickly approaching, so I'm back again, like I am every week with football guys, talking about my favorite, one of my favorite starts for this week, one of my favorite sits for this week, and asking a question heading into this week, just something to keep your eye on. I'm Hutchinson Brown, football guys. I'm at HutchinsonB_FF on Twitter. Before I get in this video today, make sure you all subscribe to that Football Guys YouTube channel and click that notification bell to be notified every single time a new video does drop. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. So we'll start with the start for this week. One of my favorite plays for this week. The first one, this guy I'm talking about is a running back. He's coming off a bad week, but this week he has a good matchup, and I think that this player is on and off. But I'm betting on this player to have one of his good weeks. I'm talking about Cordarrelle Patterson, recently returning from injury a couple weeks ago. He's coming off a dud, which he just played 37% of snaps, put up barely 3 fantasy points. I mean, just an awful week, but I'm willing to give him a pass. It was a short week, horrible weather conditions for that game. But in this week, he gets the Bears, who have allowed 26.7 fantasy points per game in the past month. That's to running backs. And that is a bottom 8 rank in the NFL. When I would say bottom 8, I mean that's a good matchup for Cordarrelle Patterson. And they've also led the 5th most rushing yards over expectation on outside runs. And Cordarrelle Patterson, extremely efficient when he gets those outside runs. I do think Tyler Algier is definitely a sleeper in this matchup as well. I think you could possibly play him. But I think this is one of those weeks where Cordarrelle Patterson, you can play him as an RB2 with a lot of upside. Let's move to the sit for this week. Player that I don't really love as much for this week. Look, the Eagles came out with a big loss last week. I mean, that was an embarrassing loss. I think they're going to come out, especially their defense, they're going to come out with hunting for blood. And against the Colts, I want to sit Michael Pittman this week. I know Matt Ryan's back, and that makes it look a little bit better volume-wise for Michael Pittman. However, I think the Eagles defense are going to come out, and I think they're going to look for blood, and I think that Michael Pittman's going to get shut down. I really do. I think Darius Slay is going to be all over him. And Michael Pittman he hasn't performed lately. It really hasn't been there for him in the past few weeks, and it's not his fault necessarily. He's a very talented wide receiver. It's just this offense is not built for him to succeed. And unfortunately, I'm going to be sitting him against the Philadelphia Eagles defense, who have been a top 5 defense against passing offenses. I mean, sure, the run game, the run defense for the Eagles is very concerning, but we know what they are when it comes to the passing defense. Michael Pittman, expect him to get shut down. And then the question for this week, I'm going back to the Eagles game, but I'm looking at the other side of the football. I'm looking at the Washington Commanders. Now, I'm not going to ask about Taylor Heinicke because it looks like he's won over the locker room for that team, and when Carson Wentz comes back healthy, it seems like he's going to be the starter. But I want to ask about the backfield, because last week we saw Brian Robinson receive 26 carries, and the few weeks prior to that, he wasn't really involved part of this offense. He wasn't a primary piece of this offense. And against the Texans this week, that's another matchup where we could see a lot of running for the Washington Commanders. So I just want to ask the question over the next week or two, I want you to look out for, is Brian Robinson going to be in a very involved part of this offense moving forward? Is he going to? Because it seemed like it was going to be before the season started. Then he got shot, and then he came back, and he just hasn't been too involved. He started out as the kind of the leader back, and then he faded out. And then Tony Gibson the last few weeks has been on fire. But now last week, Brian Robinson got more touches than Tony Gibson, and he looked decent on them. So is Brian Robinson going to be a more involved in this part of this offense now? Let's see if that can continue from last week, this week, against the Houston Texans. All right, everybody, that's going to be it for this video today. Thank you all so much, though, for tuning in. Please subscribe to the Football Guys YouTube channel so you'll be notified every single time a new video drops on this awesome YouTube channel. I'm Hutchinson Brown, Football Guys. I'm at HutchinsonB_FF on Twitter. We see you all next week.